This is the story about the animal kingdom. Welcome to the family of Neen. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Part 8. To hinder every progress in the forest. Buffalo gazed at him with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Why do you nurture such evil in your heart? He asked. His gaze tends to shift away. Answer me, he said. Oxpecker was silent. He remembered the terms and conditions that led to their friendship. Secondly, as they had become friends and formed the Three Musketeers with Tommy, and now Tommy, their friend, took him to the veterinary clinic when he had diarrhea and he was treated by Dr. Jones. He stayed in the clinic for 1 week and they took care of him. Remember, he said, Tommy earned a medal for his bravery and his charity. Do you think he would want to be involved in this act of barbarism amongst the animals? Having won recognition for his animalitarian work, Oxpecker was confused. He did not know that Buffalo would expand his thoughts to show him how devilish they were. But I will give you a little advice. Take it or leave it, he said. If you don't get along, keep your distance but don't burn bridges. Oxpecker was even more confused. He didn't know what to say. His eyes were unreliable with unsatisfied expression. I have said a lot. What do you have to say? Said Buffalo. Oxpecker scratched his head and said, I thought I had changed, but when they booed me severely at the meeting, I decided to show them the other side of me they used to know. Buffalo smiled and asked, I guess you did not display a lot of your personalities at the meeting. Oxpecker was quiet. Did you or did you not? He asked. He replied, Yes, I did, but not the full demonstration. How much did you demonstrate? Buffalo asked. Well, I jumped on top of the head of the party member who accused me of being an evil that must be exposed, he said. And what did the fellow animals do? They held me and begged me to please come down. They called me a short-legged beast and many other names that I did not like. I came down, but I was very pissed. Never mind, he rubbed his head. You will be fine, said Buffalo. Oxpecker continued. I want us to form a party and join in the political race. What do you say about that? Well, it is good, but what name shall we call our party? Buffalo asked. Small but mighty party, SMP, he replied. Buffalo laughed. Oxpecker asked, what was the laughter about? Buffalo replied, what difference will our party make to the animal kingdom? Seeing that election is at hand, we did not join early. Oxpecker thought for a while and said, the difference will be that the little animals will not be seen or heard, so that they will not be killed. Buffalo asked, what was the inspiration behind that? Oxpecker replied, at the meeting, the CAAP claimed that the little animals are not seen and not heard, but I challenged the notion and said that it was not true. And why did you say that? Buffalo asked. I am also a little animal, said Oxpecker. You and I know that I am seen and I am heard. That's the reason they call me small but mighty. Buffalo smiled. He did not dispute his claims, but he asked, what policies are we going to present to the animals? He replied, 1. To train more therapists to help the animals when they are attacked by the so-called parasitic insects. To relieve them from irritation. And number 2, he asked. Oxpecker replied, to shield the little animals from the hunters. Buffalo thought about it and nodded in agreement. Okay, now that we have formed a party and have policies to present, what will be the motto? He asked. Oxpecker replied, change for better. Buffalo nodded and shook his hand for his big ambition to sell his policies to the animals and rebrand the kingdom. Now we are set to go. They took their policies to the meeting to join in the political race as an independent candidate. When they arrived at the meeting, the animals were surprised to see Buffalo. They whispered to one another, what has he come here to do? Buffalo went underground after the isolated incident of killing Giraffe in a no-hold-barred match. Tommy, Oxpecker's friend, stood up and greeted fellow animals. I am happy to present our new party and our leader to you. The animals watched and listened in silence. They saw Tommy as a different breed. A member of the FAP interrupted and asked him to sit and don't disorganize the meeting. By the way, how come your name is Tommy and not Oxpecker? Everyone laughed. Tommy smiled and said, I was adopted by Mr. Loveday when I was little. I have since returned to the wild, but I still go back to him occasionally as it is my second home. Oxpecker got up, filled with rage, and demanded that his manager should be granted the audience to at least speak. Leopard, who was the leader of the LAP, stood up and asked Oxpecker to sit down and don't disturb the meeting. Oxpecker insisted that they should be allowed to join in the political race. The animals were overwhelmed by his foolishness and asked, "Where were you when others were joining? Party submission of candidates closed long time, and we were not accepting new candidates." Buffalo was silent. He tried to maintain his silence in order not to provoke the animals. Another member of the FFP stood up and pleaded to the animals to allow Oxpecker's manager to present their political manifestos. Tommy got up and thanked the animals once again. "I am happy to present my party to you." A member of the FAP who does not understand why Oxpecker should be granted audience when they are in the middle of rounding up of the election stood up and demanded that Oxpecker and his new party should not be allowed to disturb the election process. There was confusion in the meeting. Everyone raised their voices for or against the decision to include him. At the least, the animals decided to hear him out. They all seated and listened. "Go ahead, present your party to us," they said. Tommy got up and said that their party's name is Small But Mighty. There was total silence. The animals looked at one another and asked, "What did he just say was the name of his party?" One of them answered, "Small But Mighty." Of course, we all heard him. They all laughed uncontrollably. Another person shouted from where he was seated, "Fire on, we are listening." Tommy continued, "We are an independent party. I want to personally apologize for our lateness. It is beyond our control. On behalf of our party, I present the leader, Mr. Oxpecker." Oxpecker smiled, made a crackling sound and waved his hand. There was silence everywhere. The animals raised their noses in disgust and shouted, Yeah, whatever." Tommy continued, "Our policies are as followed. 1. To train more therapists to relieve the animals from irritation when attacked by parasitic insects. 2. To shield little animals like us from hunters. We do not believe that animals should be seen or heard. We want to protect them from being seen, heard, and killed." The animals were confused with the policy. They asked him to please come again. He was bold to repeat himself. He realized that he was gathering momentum from the crowd. They asked him how this party intended to implement their policies. He replied, "Let me start from the first policy. More therapists are needed to help the animals when they are in the irritation state, which I am sure a lot of us can attest to. Relief is necessary at that period. Someone must do the job. According to the CAAP, they claim that little animals are seen and not heard. We want to cover them from being seen or heard in order to protect them from being killed. I will appeal to the fellow animals to please vote for Mr. Oxpecker." Change for the better. The animals looked at each other and said their policies made sense in a way. After presentation, he thanked the animals and sat down. They clapped for him. His party was happy that they were making progress. The animals began deliberating on those policies and concluded that their policies are good if they can implement them as promised.